Hello everybody, welcome to Crafty Soup. My name is Misty. I am here on the first of the month with another scrapbook kit build video for you as part of the design team over at the Counterfeit Kit Challenge. Let's dive into our inspiration and see how my kit comes together. Our inspiration kit this month was chosen by team member Julene, and we are looking at the Citrus Twist Kits company. And she chose the Flea Market Findings collection. Now, if you're going to go to Citrus Twist and check out their photos on your own, just know that there's an original Flea Market Findings, and then there's also a Flea Market Findings V2, which means version 2. So we're working with the original inspiration of Flea Market Findings and not the V2 version. So I have opened up a few photos here, and let's take a look at the one we are working with. So their papers come in 6x8 size, and if you don't use that size, that is a great reason to counterfeit your own kit. I do like a lot of the inspiration we've got going on here. The color palette totally works for me. I do like these little birds. I know I have some birds in my collection. We'll see if they make it into this kit and if I can use them. Let's keep going though. We've got some enamel dots in some very mild colors, except for that yellow. That yellow's pretty poppy. And then we have some chipboard frames, and there's a few icons in here, another bird and a little happy face. I'm not sure where I want to go with that just yet. Let's keep looking. So we have some general die cut ephemera. I like this one that says cheer and good. Definitely like the little birds. We'll see what I can do with that. Tags and tickets and a little bit of journaling ephemera. And then we have some tiny word stickers. I have lots of tiny word stickers, so that can definitely make its way into my kit. And then some alphas. So that is a pretty condensed version of supplies to choose from. However, it's open to your interpretation, so go ahead and make yourself a list. I'm making myself a list, and then I'll come back to show you what I did. All right, I've made my notes here to figure out what I want to pull, and if you're interested in getting this printable, I have that for free on my blog, and there will be a link below. I've made my notes on some colors, and then I went ahead and started pulling colors and patterns, and here is the first batch of things that I pulled. One of the very first things I pulled was this kind of chevron paper because I think it incorporated a lot of the colors. Now it does add some green, but that's okay. I don't mind adding in extra colors if I need to because it is my kit. And then I went for some peachy tones, and I found two pieces of paper that had kind of basic subtle patterns in kind of geometric tones in the peachy prints, and I thought it went okay with the peaches in the paper that pulls everything together. I always like to have at least one piece of paper that pulls all of the colors together. So that is what I've got there. I did find some wood grain tones that I really liked. Now, this one kind of builds on that darker blue that was in the inspiration, but in a wood tone instead. And then I've got more of a subtle, more of a basic wood tone, but it does pick up some of the peachy colors and a little bit of the bluey colors that I think I'm going to go for. And I'm hiding one sneaky piece of paper back there as I shuffle things around. And then I found this blue tone, which is a little bit more of a modern print, but it kind of goes with the softer blue in the kit a little bit. And I found this black and white paper, even though it's not florals, I liked it for its subtlety and great layerability. And then the little sneaky one that I was hiding was this floral print in a wood grain. So I'm kind of mixing and matching some of the themes that were coming up for me. And then I've got a stack of papers over there that I'm not sure about, so let's go through them. Okay, I was going to try and do this part live and in real time, but it was getting too long, so I decided to speed this up and do the voiceover. The first group of papers that I need to narrow down is a collection of yellow papers. I have some polka dots, I have some plaids, and I'm looking at my main color-driven paper, and I'm going to decide which ones I want to use. And in the end, I'm going to go ahead and go with this yellow plaid. The next grouping of papers I want to take a look at is various florals. Now there was a white with a black print floral in the inspiration, but I pulled out multiple things for various reasons, and I don't need to go over all of those right now. But of all of these, I decided to go ahead and keep the black with white print in kind of a medium-sized print, also because it has a little bit of a feathery edge to the print, being foliage. That will make it much easier to layer and create pops of color between layers. So that is why I chose that particular black print. Now I did go ahead and pull in this gray print. It is technically not really a floral, but it has kind of a floral vibe to it. So I liked that one for layering also, and that is why that one stays. The final set of papers is bird prints, and I think I said that I had some bird prints. I didn't find what I thought I had, but I found lots of stuff that I had forgotten about. So I have a lot of options sitting here, and I choose this little quail print. It has been in a kit way in the past, and I really love this paper, and I haven't figured out how to use it yet, so that will be fun to have in my kit. We'll see if I can do it again. And then this one has subtle birds and florals, and I liked the color tone along with everything else. So I picked that darker blue one there in the background, and this more vintagey one isn't quite matching up with the more graphic elements of this kit, so that one I set aside. All right, so here is a nice overview of the papers all spread out. Now that I have my color palette finalized, I can go choose some embellishments. Now it's time for the embellishments, and I'm going to speed this up as well. The first thing I go to is die cuts, because that was front and center of the kit options, and I chose tabs to go first, and then a whole bunch of tags, and there's no way I can use all of this, but this is where I had a hard time controlling myself, whereas with the papers I was able to keep it under control. Okay, I did have some stickers in various word prints, and I liked those a lot. I did pull out various motifs that I noticed on the die cuts, but in other textures. So we've got arrows made from washi tape. There's also wood veneer hearts and cork hearts and a couple of other items. The next tray has some fabric hearts, and then I turned my attention to various florals, including crocheted and paper florals. I've got some brad florals that I can use as little center bits to some things. And then, oh, that was just a piece of garbage that had made its way in there. And then I noticed there was like a couple of elements that had some scalloping on them, so I pulled in a scallop punch. And I've got to have plenty of enamel dots in colors to match, as well as alphas. I chose a few colors that go with some of the papers, and that wraps that up. Here is a spread of most of the embellishments. I couldn't fit them all on screen, which means I have a little bit of problem with too many embellishments, but sometimes that is how it goes. There we go. That was my kit build. While I kept the pattern papers reasonable, I did go overboard with my embellishments. But like I said, I can always just tuck them back away on my shelves and use them in future kits. Until next time, I hope you have an artful day.